right, we are now starting our week of a relationship power up, and this is going to be awesome, awesome, awesome. We have as our first guest well, actually, she's not a guest anymore. She's our partner and friend in the business. It's Whitney Kobrin. She is a love coach. Woo! And we love that. She's going to be sharing some awesome, great information with us. And we are very excited to hear what she has to say. So we're not going to procrastinate. We're not going to push this off because procrastination is our next subject at around 12 o'clock. So I'm going to introduce Whitney at this time. Whitney, it's all yours.
Hi, Phil. Thank you so much. Lovely to be here. Little about me. I have an educational background in psychology and 15 years in recruiting, matchmaking, and coaching. I currently fulfill my life purpose as the owner of Heart Hunters Love Coaching, and I'm currently running a transformational coaching program for women to help them reconnect with their femininity, gain peace and clarity, and cultivate loving relationships. But this topic today is not just for women, it's not just for single people, it's for everybody. So let me pull up my screen. Am I sharing the screen?
I see your screen. There you go.
Okay, great. So today we're going to be talking about breaking through your comfort zone. And throughout this process, we're going to identify what the comfort zone is and how we create it. And I want everyone who's listening to this to grab a piece of paper and a pencil or your journal, or have something that you can type into, because this is not going to be one of those break through your comfort zone in 5 simple steps, because it takes a lot more steps than that, and it's not that simple. But this is going to be really personal. I want you to really take some time to think about your own personal situation, and you'll see as we go through what I mean. So grab your pencil or pen and paper or journal or computer. What would you attempt if you knew that you could not fail? I want you to really think about this. What would you do, say, be, have, create? If you could do anything, what would it be? Write down whatever comes to mind. Even if it seems impossible, don't worry about how you're going to manage it or how you're going to find the balance. Just think about what you want right now in your life. Think about your health, your well-being, your love life, your family, your career or side gig, your community or your social circle. Write down whatever goals or dreams come to mind. Maybe you want to start over in a new career field. Maybe you want to start dating again after divorce. Maybe you need minor changes because you love your life, or maybe you're not happy in your life and you need to make a big change. So that's where we're going to start. Write those down, keep thinking about it as we go along, and add anything else that comes to mind. So considering that those are your dreams and your aspirations, what's holding you back? Before we discuss this answer in full, we're going to do a little exercise. So again, in your notebook, I want you to write this down. Fears, list 1 through 10, and self-defense strategies, 1 through 10. You're going to write down your own individual things that come to mind. Usually my clients come up with about 3 or 4 very quickly. Oh, I'm afraid of this and I'm afraid of that. And then it's really hard to come up with the other up to 10, but I assure you we always do. So I'm going to lead you in an example, and you might relate to some of these and think, oh yeah, that reminds me of this other fear that I have. And we're going to go deep here. Again, there's no 5 simple steps. This is real life, real deep. So first one that comes up often is a fear of failing. You know, this might look different to different people. You know, I failed in my relationship, failed my children, failed my career, whatever it is. The next one we fear is being afraid that if we actually had that dream, that we wouldn't be able to handle it. Are you afraid of being controlled? Or maybe you're afraid of being in control. People might find out that I'm smart or that I'm stupid or that I'm lazy. You know, think about what you hide from people. What would you not want them to know about you? I'm not enough. This comes up a lot. Almost everybody in the entire world has this feeling every once in a while, and some more than others. Fear of being alone. You know, needing love is an innate primal need that's embedded in our DNA. And needing love is not synonymous with being needy, but a lot of people are actually afraid of being alone or even afraid of being with someone. Maybe you're afraid of conflict or causing a fight. You might be a people pleaser or a martyr. You might be the opposite. You might confront everything because you're afraid of not being heard. The people pleasing we'll talk more about in my talk tomorrow, which is becoming a boundary badass. Another common fear is being judged. You know, oh my God, what will people think of me? Oh my God, I can't do that. I'm wondering what fears you guys are coming up with. Number 9, trusting someone. Obviously, if you've been hurt before by someone that you trusted, it can be really hard to learn to trust again. And another is facing the truth. You know, are you living in denial? Maybe you go to work every day and you hate your job and you just think, you know, it'll be better when I get this promotion, or it'll be better if I can just get past this, if I can just get my next bonus. You know, our fear is based on our past programming and conditioning, and it can be illogical. So sometimes instead of facing the truth that we hate our job or that our relationship is unhealthy, you know, we'd rather just live in the lie, live in what we're used to, because facing the truth means we have to take action. And the truth means we have to start over. And that sounds hard. And the truth means leaving the predictable and known safe comfort zone. So where did all these fears come from? You know, when we're born, our fears serve us. They're there to keep us safe. You know, don't touch fire, don't walk off a ledge. The fears that babies have are very logical and helpful. And if you think of yourself as a little 3-year-old, joyous and alive and smiling and really living in the moment, at that age, we don't have a fear of failing. We don't have a fear of being controlled. We don't have a fear of being alone. We don't have a fear of trusting someone, you know, but as we go through life, we get hurt. And so we create these self-defense strategies to protect ourselves from getting hurt again. So again, I want you to come up with your own 10 self-defense strategies. What do you do to protect yourself from the fears that you listed? And the way I'm going to do this is each self-defense strategy aligns with the numbered fear, but yours don't have to. Sometimes they overlap. But I'm going to go through these to give you guys some idea of what the common self-defense strategies are and see if you relate to them. A common one is just don't try. You know, you can't fail if you don't try. Don't put yourself out there. Another is that we'll keep our goals small. You know, again, dreaming big maybe we can't handle it. Maybe we're not enough. Maybe we're gonna fail. We sometimes are afraid to surrender, and we avoid intimate situations. Keep it shallow. Sometimes we hide out. We don't let people see the real us. We put on a facade or what we think people will like to get them to like us. We might freeze or shut down, flee, fight, flee, or freeze? Do you fight? Do you freeze? Or do you flee? You probably do one of them. Sometimes we hang on to negative relationships for too long. Or sometimes we leave good relationships that could be saved. So again, depends on your personal situation. If we're afraid of conflict or afraid of being judged, sometimes we just keep quiet. We don't speak up. We don't say our needs. We don't say when we're disappointed. Usually that leads to blowing up in the end. We might try to fit in and not stand out. Or maybe you don't ask for help for anyone. You just are an independent person. You rely only on yourself because depending on someone else will only lead to hurt. And you might avoid the truth, So these fears and self-defense strategies are what define your comfort zone. If you haven't filled out all 10, please try. This is where we start. The strategies that we use are useful because we can get predictable known outcomes. If we know that we can hide out and not let people at work see that we're really vivacious and love to party and host and have gatherings because we don't want them to think that we're irresponsible. We have a predictable known outcome with that. We know that the people at work see us in a certain way, and that works for us. And sometimes our self-defense strategies do serve us well. Sometimes they protect us. If you're afraid of catching COVID and you're staying in and wearing a mask and those things, that's another thing. It's a self-defense strategy. Is it hurting you or is it harming or is it helping you? And that's what we're really going to look at. Because when you consider that not only are these creating the same comfortable, predictable outcomes, but they will only create the same predictable outcomes. If you really want to make a change, you have to change who you are, not just what you do. If we freeze and feel helpless instead of taking responsible action, we stay stuck, and we stay stuck in our comfort zone. And so I'm going to show you guys what the comfort zone looks like for those of you who are visual people. At the center of your comfort zone is your fear. And surrounding your comfort zone are these self-defense mechanisms and our excuses and our strategies. Security. This is a funny one because it's perceived security. If you really, really dream of branching out into a brand new career field, but you say, well, I have this steady job and it's supporting me and it's secure and, I can't leave it. Well, how secure is that job? You could lose that job anytime. Something could happen to your industry, to your company. Same thing with people that we love. I've gone through my husband passing away, which was extremely scary. And, that's something that you think is secure. You don't expect those kind of changes. Also within your comfort zone are your daily ups and downs, your good days, your bad days, you're meeting up with friends for coffee and laughing your ass off and having fun. And also the all-day cry sessions that happen, angry outbursts. Your daily ups and downs are still within your comfort zone, and they're probably still pretty predictable. Your limiting beliefs are in your comfort zone. It's known and familiar. you have limited growth. You know, I was thinking of this example of when you're at work and you take a work training and you learn a new skill. It's still in your comfort zone. You know, you're augmenting your knowledge a little bit, you're growing a little bit, but you're not really having personal growth or a big transformation, you know, and that's really what it takes to achieve something you've never achieved before. And again, our predictable outcomes are within our comfort zone. So what happens if we go outside of our comfort zone? Well, first of all, it's the unknown. And that could be really scary because all the good and all the bad are out in the unknown. At least in our comfort zone, it's predictable, you know, and I think of an extreme example like someone who's in an abusive relationship. You know, it's not their fault. They're not responsible for what the other person is doing to them. But we always think of, you know, why don't they leave? And it's exactly for this reason, because at least within the comfort zone, they know what's going to happen. They know that they can predict it. You know, they're scared of the unknown. And again, there's no 5 simple steps to doing this. Imagine how hard that would be. Where am I going to live? What happens if I get caught? What about my kids? What about how I'm going to get money? How am I going to eat? I don't want to go to a shelter. I don't want to be seen as a failure. I'd rather put up this facade and not face the truth and pretend that everything's okay. You know, and that's an extreme example, but hopefully it will also show you, even in your small examples, the severity that can happen in really sticking within your comfort zone all the time. Your big goals and dreams are outside your comfort zone. Your opportunities, new people, open-mindedness. You know, within our comfort zone, we have limited beliefs. Like if you're single and you're afraid of dating, or you're had bad experiences dating, you have a lot of fears around that. Fear of meeting someone crazy, fear of having a repeat relationship like the last one that didn't work out. But when you really step outside your comfort zone and break through your fears, you become more open-minded to say, actually, there could be a really amazing, great person that I could meet here. You know, I could have fun. This could be great. Outside your comfort zone, you'll find the desired changes in yourself, your personal growth and possibility. So if you want a different result, if you want the things that you wrote down in the beginning, you have to change or expand what you do and who you are. And breakdowns lead to breakthroughs. So this is a big, important piece to this, because a lot of us think, you know, oh, I'll just do this incremental change. I'll just try this new thing, or I'll just, you know, organize my calendar better. And it usually doesn't lead to a drastic change. If you're really looking for something to turn around, a lot of times you have to go through the emotions and through the pain and through the realization of what you're not happy with. And it can feel like your life is falling apart. And in that moment of the breakdown, it really helps to have faith, to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, to know that this is serving you to make you a better person. So don't be afraid to break down. Don't be afraid to shut the shades and go in a room and tell people not to bother you and just cry it out, write it down, journal, get angry, go to one of those places where you can pay to break glass shit everywhere, you know, whatever you need to get unsatisfied with your current situation, to mourn the loss of your previous life, to be able to create something new and amazing and better. So how do we break through? I'm going to give you several different strategies here. So the first first one is that we have brain plasticity. You know, we used to think back in the 80s and before that you're born with a certain number of brain cells and that's all you get. And now we know that that's not true. Your brain changes. Your brain can change the way it fires. You can change the way you think. You can change your personality traits. You know, there's a lot of amazing books out there like Joe Dispenza that talk a lot about this, changing the habit of being you, evolving your brain. So just know that these kind of big, huge changes really do require you to change yourself and not just your situation. But the good news is that it's possible. You can change if you want to. So awareness is step one of the transformation journey. This process of writing down your fears and writing down your self-defense strategies and understanding where your comfort zone is and how you can break through it to get where you want to go. It's still only step one. You know, the journey is where the change happens. So you want to set your goals, write them down, communicate them, share them, really live them. And then feel the fear and do it anyway. So again, about the brain plasticity, practice will build new neuronal pathways and connections. The neurons that fire together, wire together. So if you do something, imagine when you drive to work, if you commute, after a few months of driving to work the same way every day, it becomes automatic. You don't even have to think about it. You just go. And that's your brain, you know, tucking that information away as, okay, I don't have to think about this anymore. It's just automatic. And that's how we live most of our lives these days. So I challenge you to take a different route, do something different, go a different way, you know, build new neuronal pathways, react in different ways. You know, if you are in a relationship and you're quick to burst out in anger, you know, practice doing something different, and eventually it can become a new habit. Another strategy to break through your comfort zone is to dismantle your fears. So imagine if you knew someone who was afraid of elevators and they would not go in an elevator ever. And you wanted to help them to break through this. You know, there's lots of different things you can do to kind of dismantle this fear. So you might give them information to start with, which is never enough, but information about the safety of elevators. And then maybe you do systematic desensitization. So step by step, you have them go in the elevator and out, and then you have them go up one floor and out. And you gradually dismantle this fear, this you know, conditioning that happened to them at an earlier stage. You know, imagine if someone's afraid of dogs, you'd want, and they decided for themselves that they don't want to be afraid of dogs anymore. So they might start by being around nice dogs, little cute, friendly dogs, you know, and gradually work their way up to, you know, approaching bigger dogs. But you can dismantle your fears. You don't have to live with them the rest of your life. Another key is to focus on who you're being more than what you're doing. And that's really the kind of coaching that I do. Is it's called ontological, and I focus on who you're being, not so much what you're doing. Because I'm sure you can imagine when you're having a really great productive day and you feel great and you're being a good person and people are, you know, content around you, you can do a whole lot more. But if you feel like crap and you go into work and you're like, I have so much stuff to do, and you drudge through it, you know, it's much harder. So I feel like the whole self-help industry wants to sell you this idea that you can always do more and do more. And sometimes you have to do less to be more. And in who you're being, you want to develop the mindset and belief system and resilience needed to align with your goals. So again, one of the fears was, well, if I get this goal, will I be able to handle it? And if you stay the same person from point A to point B, no, you can't handle it because you couldn't handle it in the beginning. But if you not only build your dream, but also work on your own mindset, your own belief system, and your own resilience, then you'll grow along with it. And by the time you get there, you will be able to handle it. Another tip is to try something new. Within our comfort zone, we do the same things all the time. Try something new. Go to a random Ethiopian restaurant if you've never tried it, or go somewhere else, or you never know what you're going to like if you don't try it. And another strategy is to think big picture. So think about what will happen 5 years from now if I don't take action, or 10 years or 20 years. Think about the time's going to pass anyway. You're going to be 5 years older and 10 years older and 20 years older at some point. So think of yourself at that age, looking back, going, wow, I'm so glad I did that. Imagine how my life would be without it, or the opposite. And then the last one is to envision your success and plan on it, rather than fearing it and being afraid. A lot of us are conflicted because we want something big, but we're also afraid of it at the same time. This happens a lot in relationships. You want love, but you're also afraid of love, and you have to really work through that. And you have to really embrace all of these to be able to get to that point where you heal and you're able to be in healthy relationships. So again, I work as a coach. I own Heart Hunters Love Coaching. I currently work with women who are seeking more clarity and peace in their lives. Most of them are single, but I help people with their lives, not just how to date and all of that, but I know that stuff too. So online dating, if that's an issue, if you want to talk to someone about how to do that, or refresh your site or what sites to use, I would be a great resource for that as well. And I'm offering a free 1-hour coaching session, a discovery call. I'll ask you questions. I'll find out a little bit about your patterns, give you and see a fit. So thank you guys.
That was cool. Thanks so much, Whitney.
It's going to be kind of heavy and deep.
No, actually not. It's you left out one of my self-defense mechanism, which is napping. It's like, oh man, this is getting really tough. I think I'll take a nap until I wake up and feel refreshed, and then like, oh, it's too late to do something about it now. I'll start it again tomorrow. And that's probably going to talk to Frank about that one. I love what you said about Joe Dispenza.
That rest can be productive too.
Yeah, but not when you're using it as an avoidance technique. So it's like, okay, I'll just rest. Rest. Joe Dispenza. I love reading Joe Dispenza and his, neurons that fire together, wire together. And again, it's what you're saying is to get out of that comfort zone. I think people think it's an all, it's done in one day. It's like, okay, I gotta go skydiving today to get rid of, my limiting beliefs. But you're saying is analyze what they are, write them down, look at them, and see how you can step away from that comfort zone a little step at a time. That walking into the elevator and walking out, not getting into the elevator and going to the top of the Empire State Building in one shot. So I like the little steps.
Yeah, skydiving would be a good initiator, though.
I did that with zip lining, and I was fooled into going zip lining. Didn't know we were supposed to go see a butterfly, exhibit, and we ended up on the zip lines. And you want to laugh, but before we went on, it's like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. And by the time you're ending, it's like, I can do anything. I can just, I can fly.
I think a lot of the things you were talking about, Whitney, it would be hard for some people to do that on their own. I can't even imagine kind of like taking those steps without somebody, walking me through it. Right. I mean, isn't that's where you come in, right? To help
Yeah,
people
I
with
mean,
that.
it's just like working out. You can read a bunch of books about working out. You can learn all about nutrition, but until you do it, it's not going to have any result. And that's why people hire coaches, and that's why people hire personal trainers, because they know that they're going to find excuses, or they're going to not be able to do it, or they've tried in the past and failed. And having that accountability partner, having that expert, having that person to hold their hand, having that person to remind them along the journey, you know, hey, remember you're doing this because of this. Let's get out there. You know, I do that a lot, and I can often come up with a lot of it, you know, and but they know that they need that support along the way to actually be able to do it.
Like, you know, like when you're learning to ride a bike. I mean, think about the person that they break up with somebody every year. You know, like every year they're dating somebody new. Oh, this time it's going to work.
Yeah.
Next year, it didn't work out, but here's George.
I like to say
Yeah.
after the
They
third
the
divorce,
same-
it's you.
What were you going to say,
Yeah.
Whitney?
Yeah, they bring the same patterns. People repeat the same patterns in relationships. It's amazing.
How do you start the process
And I've
with
done
someone?
it.
How do
Say
you
that
start
again?
the process with someone? How
When
do
I
you
take
start the
them to,
process? Like if somebody wants to be a client of yours, how do they start the process with you?
so go to my website, sign up for a discovery call, and that's step one. So on the discovery call, I will ask a bunch of questions. I'll find out about this person. And then we'll look at what coaching would look like. And then we do weekly sessions along with, you know, interim help mid-week, texting and quick phone calls if needed. And yeah, we get into embodiment. You know, I work with women specifically because I find that we live in this male-dominated world where women are just trained to put on this masculine mask. And I teach women that femininity is not weak. Femininity is actually powerful, extremely powerful. When you could tap into your body and tap into your intuition, you know, we make babies. We have this amazing machine that we're like, stop it. Don't have a cycle. Don't do this. Don't do that. Oh, I hate you. And like when you really learn to embrace it and work with it and flow with it, it's really powerful. So that's part of it, is connecting with your body, connecting with your intuition, connecting your mind, body, and soul to one, because it's amazing how much can be resolved just from that alone. But then we get into also, you know, how to set clear boundaries and communicate properly for yourself and not build walls, and how to be vulnerable and open up to people, you know, how to be the person you want to be. And then also I throw in there all the, you know, dating tips, because I've been a matchmaker and I've done the online dating thing. And I know, you know, whether it's online or not online, you know, you don't have to go online anymore. It's whatever works for the individual.
You know, I think you just spoiled it for Oscar because you just told him where babies came from, and I think that totally has messed him up.
There goes my spore theory.
But it was the stork that brought the babies.
Well, we all know he fell from the sky. You know.
What are the three
You know, but
biggest
this
fears? Sorry, what are the three biggest fears that you see in women when they reach out to you? Like, what is it that is holding them back? What is it that is really,
Oh.
you know, stopping them from actually finding that life of fulfillment?
The biggest one across the board, hands down, is I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not capable enough. I'm not whatever enough. That's it. And, you know, I think it was Louise Hay, who who, I mean, her whole book is about that. Her whole book is about how we think we're not enough and it holds us back. And as soon as we learn to really embrace who we are and realize that we're enough for what we're personally capable of, you know, I couldn't handle being CEO of a company. That's just not me. That's not in my nature. So I might not be enough for that, but I'm enough to be the CEO of my own company. You know, it's about aligning yourself with what you're able to do. Other common fears were fear of being alone, and then anything that stems from childhood. You know, if you had a difficult, angry father, you get afraid of conflict. If you had a mother who was constantly crying and sad, you might be afraid to speak up and hurt someone's feelings. You know, a lot of it is old conditioning that we hang on to for our whole lives until we realize, you know, until we wake up to it.
Yeah.
Well, that goes with Bob Proctor speaks about that also. The what we're running on, as you said, is the subconscious, and the subconscious is programmed by age 7. So if you had all those conflicts by age 7, your 30, 40, 50-year-old operating system has never been updated. So we're running, you know, our 50-year-old lives with a 7-year-old's perspective.
But that's all of us, right?
Yeah.
That's everybody.
Yeah.
How do you, what is the dynamic? What is the dynamic that says, well, this person fits my life? Like, I mean, we all have dysfunctions. Let's face it. Like, we all have dysfunctions. So let's start there. You know, we'll start with that. Okay. We all got stuff we're working on. But how do you know that you're with somebody that kind of fits even your like uneven points? If that makes any sense.
So the most important thing that I encourage people to look for if they're single and looking for a relationship is a growth mindset, because you're going to grow, you're going to change, it's inevitable. And are you going to grow apart or are you going to grow together? You know, so that's one thing. Like if someone's been through a lot of therapy, someone who's unaware might think that's a bad thing. They might be like, oh my God, this person's been through like 5 years of therapy. They must be really screwed up. But the reality is, if they've been through 5-10 years of therapy, they're aware, they're growing, they're interested in knowing about themselves. They're interested in becoming what they want to become. So, you know, I think a growth mindset is huge. It's the most important thing. And then the other thing is, you have to really know yourself. Your greatest gifts that you bring yourself personally are also could be seen as your weaknesses. You know, for example, if someone is really, really prompt and really punctual and really respectful around that, it's a gift that they bring to people around them because they're reliable and punctual. And but it could also be seen because if they're with someone who doesn't respect that, it's going to drive them crazy. And they're all of a sudden going to be this crazy anal stickler on time, and it's going to be, and you know, it's the enemy. So you have to really know what your own gifts are, your own strengths, your own vulnerabilities, and find a partner that works with. You know, find a partner that can accept your vulnerable spots and make space to be compassionate towards someone else's vulnerable spots. You know, that's what intimacy really is. Intimacy is vulnerability plus compassion.
Nice. I love that. I love that. Vulnerability plus compassion. And plus, if you can't really be intimate until you're able to do that. I find that that's normally the case. If you're going in with your defenses already up, that's really not a good sign from the get-go. So, you know, that's awesome. That is an awesome thing. So tell the folks. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there with that. Yeah.
Can I ask one question before you round it off?
No problem.
So would you say, Whitney, that actually a lot of your a lot of what you do with these women is helping them get to a point where they love themselves. And once they get to that point, they're also more open to receive love from the outside. Instead of maybe if they don't love themselves, they're trying to use the outside to fill that gap, that empty black hole inside of them. Like, would that be like something that you do or part of
Yeah,
what
so
you do?
step one is I have to hell yeah. Hell yes, that is exactly what I do. But first, I have to show them where they're not loving themselves because they don't see it. They don't realize it. They're like, yeah, I love myself. Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Right.
great.
And then they
So
put
I
up
have
the
to
makeup
really,
in the
like,
morning and they
get
make
deep and
do
really
their
show
hair.
them where.
You don't need to do that makeup thing. We just wake
Yeah.
up good looking.
I suggest everybody get my haircut. That's my suggestion. Everybody get one of these. You're good to go. You know, no high maintenance. It's just you just wake up and go. So just Whitney, before we go, just tell the folks one more time how they can reach out to you. And I know we have the banner on the screen, but just kind of tell them again how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, schedule a call with me. Don't be afraid. You know, I give those out freely. It's part of what I'm willing to give to the world. You know, if you don't sign up with me, if I don't make any money off of it, I am completely happy to have spent that hour with someone to bring them closer to understanding, to bring them closer to having fulfilling, loving relationships. And if they find that, you know, they do want to work with me, then they'll get so much more out of it. So go to my website, check out hearthunterslovecoaching.com, see if it sounds like it's for you. As I said, I'm working with women only right now. I have limited capacity because I do one-on-one coaching, so I can't take on everyone. But I do have resources for guys. I do have other coaches that work specifically with men. So if you're a guy, you can also sign up for a session with me, and I'll point you in the right direction for sure.
Awesome. And if you guys are going to be watching on Roku or Amazon Fire TV, you could go to our website as well. You can get her information there. She's a part of our partnership group, so you'll be able to see her information as well on our website. We thank you for watching. We have Mona via Monroe coming up next, and she's going to be talking about toxic relationships. And you know you have it, so don't deny it, okay? We will definitely be talking more about that with Mona. So we will see you soon in a few more minutes as Mona comes with her presentation. Take care, everyone.